22 episodes? Holy shit, another Wells? Cisco quits? Nora's dead? Damn it! Anyway, moving on with my thoughts on The Flash Season 5. I'm just gonna quickly brush over the first 3 things that are just like small little details that have been rattling around in my head. Anyway, Sherlock Wells was a pretty great addition to this season. I like that it's like a French version of Sherlock, and by this point I'm convinced that Tom Cavanaugh can play any character and do it well. So Caitlin and her family drama was not something that emotionally, hit me. But it was something that I had a little bit of fun with because it was so over the top and ridiculous with the performances that the actors give and the overall story of it. It was just fun. And I love her dad in this show. As briefly or as least amount as we see him in the season, I like him for the amount of time that he's in it and like the actor's performance, because when he's in ice mode he's like kind of sassy and cold. Cisco though has quit at being Vibe and maybe quit Team Flash, because I heard rumors online about the actor Carlos wanting to leave the show. If that's the case, then the writers really did Cisco, gave him a great send-off for this season. And you may not have noticed it, but they've kind of been building up to Cisco quitting or taking the cure since the beginning of the season. So if I don't see Cisco again, I would be perfectly content with that because of how well they left his character by the end of the season. Alright, so with all that little stuff out of the way, let's get into my deepest and most major thoughts about Season 5. Okay, so the villain this season was Cicada, and overall my opinion on the villain was mixed, and I'll get into that in a second about why it was mixed. But when it comes to the guy, Cicada, I'll explain it all in a second, but when it comes to Cicada, when we first see him, I did not like him. And it wasn't because the character wasn't written well, because the character actually was written pretty well. I actually understood and kind of had a lot of empathy for this character. The only thing that just did not work for me is the performance given by this dude playing Cicada. It was over the top, but not in a fun way. Not like a fun, quirky way like Caitlin's dad was. Like, that performance was over the top and it kind of suited the character. This actor doesn't quite know how to display anger. And I'll show you a quick clip here.
Will die.
Yeah, so he doesn't know how to display anger in the most convincing way. And I don't know, it just kind of put me off. But like I said, I do understand him and his motivations, all of that. It makes sense, okay? And I can actually get into his character, yeah? That being said, I can also relate to his niece's motivations, right? He has a niece in this season. This villain has a niece. She's hospitalized, and she, in the future, takes the role of Cicada, right? And then comes back to present time to take that mantle over, more quickly than what she did, you get the point. So yeah, I understood her motivations just as well as her uncle. But you know what? I actually liked this Cicada, the female Cicada, a lot more than the guy Cicada. And it's not because of, sex or anything. It's because the actress who was playing this Cicada did like a far better job. I don't know why they didn't go with her in the first place, because she was such, like, she does have those moments of just pointless rage where she's like or whatever, but her performance was convincing enough for me to just accept it for what it is. And I don't know, I just liked her. I don't really know how else to put it. Also, she was a bit OP. That might have had something to do with it. And as a villain, OP is not a bad thing, because if your villain is overpowered, it's more of a challenge to overcome. But like I said, I understood both of their motivations, right? It's just, it shows how much a performance from an actor can improve the role. And she improved Cicada, because Cicada was on and off for me throughout the season, but then when she came on the scene, I liked Cicada. Alright, so Nora West Allen was probably my favorite character in the entire show. Without a doubt. I'd probably have to rewatch the previous seasons and season 5 back to back just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure she is my favorite character out of the entire show for now, okay? I don't know what the future holds, but she was so well done in this season. And when she, in the beginning of the season, meets up with her family, Barry Allen, her father, she's not meant to be there, right? Because she's from their future, essentially. But also, if you know your comics, then you would know that she actually isn't even meant to exist. In the comics, and I'm pretty sure in an alternate timeline of this show, Barry and Iris have twins, Dawn and some other. I don't know. I can't remember the boy's name, but they have twins, boy and girl, and they're the speedsters of his family, right? Not Nora. It wasn't just one kid, it was two. It meant to be twins, right? This timeline, it's changed. She's one daughter, right? One child named Nora West Allen. And so she's not really meant to exist. And throughout the entire show, you get to learn more about her. And you actually start to really, really care about her, especially in one episode where they go back to the future to explore her origins that led her up to this point, right? In season 5. And man, that was probably one of the best episodes in the entire season. I wouldn't say the show, because there have been better episodes in the show throughout, but that is one of the better episodes of the entire show, and the best of one of the best of season 5, because there's a few good ones in this season. But when she dies, spoiler alert, she dies. Sorry, just spoiled it for you. I mean, why would you be watching this video if you haven't seen it? Anyway, Nora West Allen dies. And it was such an emotional scene because we have spent so much time getting to learn about her and actually, care about her. And the fact that she doesn't, she's not meant to be there and she's not meant to even exist, right? Plays into the fact that, now we have her, but now she's getting ripped away. And another thing that I just remembered that plays into her death is Iris, right? Because at the beginning of this season, I just remembered Nora and Iris didn't get along, right? So her, disappearing just adds to the fact. Wait, did she disappear? Yeah, she faded away, kind of like Peter Parker. In Infinity War. Anyway, moving on from Marvel stuff. Another thing that plays into her death is the fact that Barry was the one who was meant to disappear in the future, right? He disappears, she's left alone, right? And this time around, it's swapped. Barry is left alone with Iris, and she disappears. Nora, their daughter, disappears. So there's so many factors, so many things that they have been building up in this 5th season that are playing into her death, right? That just, whichever one, they have so many strings to pull from to make you cry like a baby. Okay, so this review, I can't help it. This review will probably be a long review, but there's so much to talk about. Anyway, one of my other major thoughts is Thawne this season. He was so well done. I mean, every time Thawne makes an appearance, Eobard Thawne, Reverse Flash, makes an appearance on the show, it immediately gets more interesting for me because the character is so well written and the chemistry between these two actors, being Grant Gustin and Tom Cavanaugh, or whoever is playing Reverse Flash, the chemistry between these two characters is so good. It's so good, man. I love it. I love it.
See you in our next crisis.
And what the hell did he mean when he said, see you in our next crisis? I know there's a crossover event coming later this year based off of the comic book Crisis on Infinite Earths. This one, I think, is titled Infinite Crisis or something, I don't know. I don't know what the next crossover event is called, but now that I'm mentioning the crossover events, let's talk about this season's crossover event. I really enjoyed this season's crossover event. It was, in my opinion, far superior than the previous 3 that we got. In my opinion, the crossover events steadily got worse and worse with the action and the drama and the writing and everything involved. It just like they were trying too hard. Okay, this one they pulled back to 3 episodes and they didn't have the legends in it. It was a bit more contained and focused, right? The story, I mean, and the writing as well. The performance is all top notch. It was like a 3-episode long movie, really. It was that good to me. I don't know, I loved it. Anyway, I'm pretty sure this has been a long video, but either way, I needed to get all that out. I'm so glad that The Flash is still a good show. It's still a good show. I don't care what anyone says. Okay, obviously it's still a good show because it has pretty damn good ratings. Look them up. But that's all my opinions on Flash Season 5. I'm excited for Crisis on Infinite Earths, or Infinite Crisis, whatever the next crossover event is called. I'm convinced that it's going to be as good as Elseworlds, if not better, because I think I know what they're planning, but I don't want to say anything yet. And honestly, if that crossover event turns out to be huge, I might just review it on its own in a separate video, right? So I'll review Flash Season 6 and then the crossover event, or however I do it, I don't know. Anyway, I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you like my content. I'll see you in the next video.